Good morning, this is totally random.
Featuring Franz Maruna and Andrew Embler.
Hello, welcome to Totally Random, your weekly news show with the core team behind Concrete5. It is 2:17. 12.
In the morning.
No. And it's been a nice week here in Portland. No major news to report. Everything continues to plunk along as you would expect it to. We did have some karma pictures come in. We could look at those. Look at the karma stuff.
Yeah.
Check them out.
And the weekly karma winners, come on down.
Woo!
Alright, first one's from Sound Structures Inc.
Nice.
It appears they have received their Concrete5 stickers.
And arrange them accordingly.
That's like the rainbow. Now you just need to think of where you're going to stick them.
Alright. We also have a nice thread posted from Wagdi in the UK. And he's got some pictures too.
Nice.
He got the Rockstar Bundle.
Oh, great. Nice. The
And-
first ever buttons distributed in the real world. Yes, very exciting.
This is the unboxing picture. The full experience.
Wow.
And here's another one.
I
I don't need this monitor.
assume those are stuck on there. Because now you can edit your website with even less monitor space. Cool. Good stuff. Thank you very much for sending those pictures back. It's always great to see our sticker around the world in exciting and interesting places. Did the Karma Machine run yet, or are we too early in the game?
Oh, looks like it did.
Yes. I'm looking ahead.
Oh boy. Well, it looks like for helping people,
I was pretty helpful this week.
our dear Andrew here has won a copy of the discussion
I
forum.
can't imagine what that's for, but that's interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think you were on that at all.
Yeah.
Waggy
people they're doing
has,
it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. Waggy has won a copy of the Flash Gallery for promoting the project, as well he should. And Five Jazz has won the Contact Directory add-on for doing work. So thank you, Waggy. What did you do for 5J? And yeah, I guess even you, Andrew.
Yeah, even
Thank
me.
you as well for helping people. They appreciate it when you help them. So that's very exciting. Good stuff. Shall we forge ahead into the PRB?
Sure, let's do
Just
it.
keep it moving. Open
And
it.
now it's time for the peer review ball.
Featuring new themes and add-ons.
You know, I think it's really interesting how in that animation they say a lot, but there's nothing in the
I
actual
know. That is interesting.
deep kind of thing going on there. But let's see. Not quite as many hours. Last week we spent about 55 hours collectively across staff, just going back and forth with people on the PRB. This week we did not spend 55 hours, but we still got a bunch of stuff approved.
We did. We made a nice dent. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming in every week, but so we do look to the community to kickstart a lot of these things. But yeah, we made a good dent this week.
Yeah. So let's see. What have we approved?
The first item that we're going to talk about is a theme. This is called Silence.
Excellent.
And
Another one with a mobile interface. Put
yeah,
it right in.
and this is by Sebastian J, which is interesting only because it's a cool looking theme. It's interesting because more people appear to be following the show the theme and then show the mobile interface by it, and I think that's pretty cool. I like that picture as well. Yeah, so you've got a nice number of different elements, some slider treatments, cool floating search box it looks like. That's an interesting man. That's cool. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. This would be a pretty good business website. Nice typography. Left sidebar.
Yeah, very pretty.
Yeah. Moving right along, we've got an add-on called Content with Google Fonts. And what this add-on does is it replaces the content block with a still tiny MCE. And it replaces the content block and lets you use all of the free fonts hosted by Google Fonts in your in your content, and then it will insert them and make use of them. And so, as you might imagine, this for those design-centric sites out there, you may not want this add-on. But if you're building, a site that has a large number of typography choices, or if you're just, messing around with typography on the fly, this would be a cool thing to add to your repertoire.
Nice.
Next add-on, this is concrete5 Integrated Portfolio. This is by 12345J, and this is kind of interesting. What this does is it's basically a widget for your site that pulls in things that you have submitted to concrete5.org by poking around through concrete5.org, communicating with it off-site.
Nice. So I can show off everything that I've made in the community on my own.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. And moving along, this add-on's called Circular Diagram.
Ooh, this one's been in the works for a long time.
It has. There's been a little bit of back and forth on this, but it has now been released. It's pretty cool. This is a way to display results in a cool, compelling way. You put in the numbers, the percentages, and then for these different categories, and it takes care of those sort of data visualizations.
Very wired.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's pretty cool.
Cool.
For 7%.
Yeah, and just a graph. I mean, you enter the data. There's no. It
Yeah.
isn't like a poll or something. It's just a visualization.
Yep. Totally. This add-on's called Force Reload, and what this does is this is a block that you add to a page, and when that block is enabled, the page will reload every X amount of seconds. And I did not approve this one. I'd be interested to know whether it turns itself off while you're in edit mode, because if not, that would be pretty hilarious. But
It does.
okay, good. That's good.
I checked it out yesterday.
Nice job. I actually just thought of that now. I thought it would be kind of funny. No, I must click faster. So that's cool. I read the description. It's useful for like live blogging events type of things where you need to periodically refresh a page. So that's pretty cool. Next add-on is called Page List Plus. This is a replacement for our page list. Or it's a different block, but you could use it instead of the page list, and it allows some more flexible and powerful options than our page list does today. So the ability to filter by custom attribute. I think it has some different ordering options, if I remember correctly. Matt's paging through some of their screenshots, so you can kind of see some of the stuff that they've got going on.
Oh, yeah, nice alternative.
Yeah. So if you need a little bit more filtering control than the page list allows out of the box, you do have to check that out.
Cool.
So next add-on is Popular Pages. And I believe this is by the same developer as the Page List Plus add-on. Allows you to list pages based on their popularity. And I believe that's just a custom attribute that's installed with the package. And it gives you some widgets to actually affect that as well, I think. And then lets you show trending pages and stuff like that.
That's very handy.
Yeah. So any kind of magazine-style site, a community website, that type of stuff, I think we find this to be very useful. Next add-on is called Nabi Box. And this is, I think, an AutoNav template that does some cool stuff with thumbnails and kind of animations. So, and the demo of the thing is probably a little bit more compelling than the still shots. Although I don't think there are any pictures in it, which makes it slightly less compelling. But you can kind of see what's going on there. I think there should be pictures in there. I don't know why they don't have that in there. You can see from the screenshots that there should be some thumbnails in there. And this is just kind of a cool way to show off some featured content.
Nice.
Looks like it shows child pages too, which is kind of cool. Next add-on is called Bootstrap Buttons, which I like because it's alliterative. And this takes the Twitter Bootstrap style and lets you create a whole bunch of different buttons in that style. And if you know me, you know I love blocks that make buttons.
Love a good button?
I do. I like a good button.
Button too.
And so this is basically Twitter Bootstrap is the interface framework that we're using in 5.5, and this add-on makes use of those buttons for you to add to your own front end of your own site.
Big buttons.
Yeah, big buttons.
You're not lying.
Different colored buttons.
Nice.
I like big buttons.
Yeah.
And so there's that.
Cool. I know that one's actually already sold.
Oh, nice. Really?
Yeah.
People love their buttons.
People love buttons.
Nice. And finally, we have regional shipping for e-commerce. This is a slightly more powerful way of shipping than e-commerce by default ships with just sort of flat across the board shipping regardless of where it's going to. Mm-hmm. And this is a approach that lets you specify different regions and the costs associated with shipping items to those regions.
Nothing easy about that.
No. I think Mania has some other e-commerce add-ons in our marketplace, and he always goes the extra mile with some of the options available there. You can kind of see from that screenshot that there's a lot going on in this add-on.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
No, it's great.
Yeah. And that is the PRB this week.
Sweet. Well, we'll keep on it. It's great when you guys keep on it. It's great when things come in working and installable and well tested. Makes everything go a lot faster.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, cool stuff. Should we move into how would we do that?
Let's do it.
Let's do the how would we do that thing, and maybe people will ask some questions.
How would we do that?
Okay. That is how we would make an intro, or the how we would do that thing. Do we got any questions, Matt?
I think we do.
All right.
All right. So Genovo has a question. Looks like they've posted it to the forums here.
Okay.
So I'm going to jump over to that thread, maybe show it off, and try to read through it here.
Sure.
Okay. So this is net editing with concrete5. And we got fresh 5.5.1 install with the Greek yogurt theme. And it looks like they're adding something to typography.css to create a background image at the top. But when logged in, the top of the background image is missing and the toolbar overlaps it. Is this working correctly?
Which toolbar? The concrete5 toolbar? Is the person in the chat, actually?
They are,
okay.
yeah.
Well, they may or may not be able to get an answer in that time. I think if it's the concrete5 toolbar, that's how it's supposed to be working.
Yeah. Concrete5 toolbar does overlap.
Everything.
And it
Unless
stays buried
it's-
to the top of your
yeah.
browser as you scroll down now.
Yeah.
And that's changed.
No, that's actually always been there. It's always stayed at the top of the browser.
Has it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But before we used to, something has changed in 5.5 the way we dealt with it.
We in pre-5.5 we had a problem where we didn't, or no, pre-5.5 we would move the background down by however tall the bar is, which made it so that it didn't overlap content.
Mm-hmm.
But then in 5.5 we accidentally removed that, so we'd have people complaining that when the toolbar overlapped their headers and stuff, whereas it used to push them down. And then in 5.5.1 we fixed that.
Maybe that helps.
C5 toolbar. I'm not totally clear. You should always be able to see the C5 toolbar, because if you didn't, you'd never be able to make changes to
That is
the
how
page.
you, maybe a screenshot.
Ah, they have added screenshots.
Oh.
Well, hey,
Here we go.
how about that? All right, let's check this out.
Test site.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see in...
Actually, anything that's like, there's that.
I guess
That
this
screenshot.
maybe this brown behind the main container is maybe that's the background header image.
Well, there's two attachments. Maybe the second
Okay,
one.
let's
There's
take a look.
Working
perfectly. That's
Yeah.
how that works.
Looks right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, perhaps how would you like that to work?
How do you want it?
How do you want
I don't think we
that?
should do that. I'm totally against that. Yeah, I think it seems like that's where we're gonna die. That seems okay, unless I'm missing it. What else you got, Matt?
Okay, CD Hollybaugh asks, whenever I add a script from monkeyc.com into an HTML block, it hangs on publish. Then I lose the add block capabilities. Is there another way I should be adding scripts?
What's monkeyc.com?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
As opposed to monkey do?
If I registered that one, I wouldn't say that.
Monkey see.
Okay. Looks like it's kind of a video sharing site.
Okay. That makes sense.
Okay.
All right. So you're saying you stick some code in there, use the HTML block, and then what happens? Bad scene?
Apparently it hangs unpublished, and then it can't add blocks.
If sometimes JavaScript conflicts with our own JavaScript, if it's some kind of crazy library that doesn't work with our own JavaScripts. If this were, unfortunately, if this were a block that was a custom block for this type of thing, we could disable it in edit mode, which makes it so that if you're editing the site, you don't include those JavaScripts that break it when you're in edit mode. But since this is just HTML that you paste in there, you might be out of luck unless there were some add-on that rendered HTML but didn't render it in edit mode, which is an interesting idea for an HTML block.
Yeah,
for us, we just show.
You can look at the Flash block is built that
Yeah.
way. It's built into the core. It's got an example of how you would turn off the view mode when in edit mode for the block.
Yeah.
So you can just do that for your HTML blocks. Like a pretty simple override. To
Yeah, just in the view template, you can, instead of just showing the content, you can only show it when it's not in it.
So yeah, if you look at the view template for the Flash block, and then figure out what's going on with that, and then create a similar view template for the HTML block, that should maybe fix it.
Yeah.
The other thing I would think of is maybe there's something else going on. Maybe it's not monkeyc involved, or maybe it's try putting some other JavaScript in there and making sure that it's not just something with your theme that's off or whatever. Are they bowling? What are they doing? It's so loud. So yeah, make sure that it's actually the monkeyc JavaScript, and if it is, then yeah, whatever you said, you got to disable the view layer on edit.
Cool. All right. Well, Wagdy has a question. Any chance of adding the Greek yogurt theme to the marketplace, or how would we get a copy of it after upgrading from 4.2.2 to 5.5?
It's in 5.5.
It may not install by default, I suppose. If you upgrade, it may not be installed. I don't know.
I think it does.
It does?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. But yeah, that's a core theme with 5.5.
Yeah.
It should install.
Yeah.
I guess if you really want to, you can try it, see how it works. And no, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work in 4.2.2.
No, it's not going to work for 2. You also take a copy of it out of the. You know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You just go grab the
source is there.
open source. So what directory is it? It's not default. It's something
It's
else.
concrete/themes. You could grab that Greek yogurt theme
Greek
from
yogurt
there and move it
directory.
into your themes directory and then install it like it was a theme. But if it's not showing up in your site for some reason, it may not be. It may only be installed if you select sample content. I forget.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you do a blank install of 5.5, you might not get that. But
Yeah, we probably should install it, just not turn it on.
Yeah.
I feel like we do though.
We just with a blank install is what? It's still just plain yogurt.
Yeah. By default.
Maybe it was a blank install. Huh.
Yeah. Or if we don't, if it's an upgrade, if we haven't scripted in to add the theme on upgrade, that's possible.
I would dig it out. It sounds like we need to figure out if it's installing or not with the next version, but I would dig it out and put it in by hand. I don't think we'll put it in the marketplace because you get weird conflicts. We had issues with the date nav.
Yeah.
That way, if something should be in the core, it's confusing for people to see it in the marketplace as well.
Yep.
I've actually got a how-to on how you might want to customize a core theme. So I'll post a link to the chat.
Nice.
If you want to pull a
How-to.
theme out of the concrete core and modify it for your own needs, this is a good way to do it.
If you're watching this later, as I know many of you do, you can go to the how-to section in our documentation area and search for customize a core theme. Didn't look like it took Matt very long to find it. Next.
That's the end of the questions. Looks like Genova is still asking a couple things about the toolbar. Does the toolbar push down the body element?
Yes. In 5.5.1. In 5.5 it didn't. And that would make the toolbar would overlap certain navs across the top of your site if they were close to the top of your browser. So we push it down.
Okay, cool. All right, we got one more question. Okay, this is from Cowperson12. They ask, what's best practice around attributes? Should each package be putting them in its own set to prevent name collisions?
For add-ons and stuff?
They should have unique handles, probably. Because they can have their own, you can name them whatever you want, so their display name can, be completely, their display name doesn't have to be unique, but I would give them different handles.
I don't think putting them in sets would fix collisions.
No.
So you might want to use handles that have your add-ons handle in it.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, or like e-commerce, for example, we show address and we show address and name for both billing and shipping, but the actual handle of those attributes is shipping underscore billing and first name, and shipping underscore first name and billing underscore first name. So the handles are unique.
I guess what you shoot for is with add-ons, especially to the PRB, we should probably be forcing people to use attributes that have their add-on handle in it as well, because I can see, exclude from nav functioning in different ways for different people. So that is something we should probably start to add to our
we do have in our Superfish menu we have a couple attributes there, and it's like exclude from Superfish.
Yes.
So that's an example of incorporating a more unique take on it. Now, you definitely putting them in a custom set isn't going to make them unique, but it's probably a good idea because it's nice.
Yeah, but just visually.
Yeah, that's totally visual.
Yeah.
And they add, so attribute sets don't compartmentalize them?
No.
That is correct. So, nice idea though.
Yeah.
But
We don't.
Cool. All right, we got a question from Shotster. He asks, just curious, how many users are in the concrete5.org user database?
about 100,000. We're just shy of 100,000 right now. There's a little bit over 100,000 sites that have connected to the community,
Which is an interesting statistic.
yeah, and there's about 250,000 unique IPs that have hit us for update information more than once. And there you go.
Excellent. Okay, we got a question from John Fish. He asks, what are current plans and schedules for updating the PRB pages on concrete5.org? And I assume he means like interface and features and stuff like that.
We were just talking about this yesterday. Can't say it was the most exhilarating conversation of my life, but it's a meaningful one, I felt. Some good ideas.
Confused what he's asking.
I think he's asking about, are we going to change the way the PRB works? Are we going to, because we've talked in the past about updating some of the functionality there to try to make it easier to, I don't know what the right word is, not fast track, but just smooth out the process. A lot of different thoughts have been suggested. There's a public discussion about this. There's certainly been plenty of discussions around the office. Some ideas work better than others. Let me see if I can remember them. Having, some different stuff that has come out. Auto-assigning new submissions to PRB members came up as a suggestion. Hey, if you're in the PRB, you should just, like a single person should be automatically assigned a new thing to approve. I think after further discussion, it seemed like that was probably not a great idea because different people have different levels of their expertise and also time. So it'd be unfortunate to assign a theme to someone who's a kick-ass app developer or vice versa. We had talked about we should have a PRB community member do a first kind of yes, this works before anyone on the core team looks at it. I really like that idea because honestly, I'm spending a lot of money having people post back saying, hey, this doesn't install or you forgot an icon. And that's frustrating for everyone. So that's appealing to me, but I don't really know if practically that's going to work in the big picture. I mean, I can see especially some of the more complicated add-ons,
Yep.
it's kind of hard to get started on, testing a big app. It's pretty easy to look at a theme, but I could see someone puts a lot of work into building an app, and then we never look at it because no one from the community ever looks at it. So I like that idea, but I don't think we're going to formalize the structure on it. We've also talked about having kind of we definitely are going to do an up and down vote, much like the bug tracker has. So you can actually weigh in, yes, this version works for me, I'm putting my name on it, or no, this version did not. And I think that'll help a lot. The same way when we redid our bug tracker, that helped a lot, because now we can sort by that, and we can easily see at a glance. Look, 8 people say this works, let's just quickly look at it and approve it, versus 8 people say this is broken, I'm not going to even waste my time. I think that's a pretty important change we're going to make. We've talked about having... this idea came up in jest years ago, and it doesn't go away, and often that's the mark of a good idea. We've talked about having like a health meter, either for the add-on or for the add-on developer. And so as something gets a lot of, hey, this doesn't work, and there's a lot of back and forth on it, the kind of submission health would go down. If there's a long time between things. What we're seeing now is like there's a lot of stuff, probably 20-30% of what is in there is just way old, and it hasn't been looked at in a long time, and
continually has problems.
Probably
to look at it.
It's just not going to get approved.
It's kind of demoralizing after a while.
Yeah, so then you look at the list, you're like, whoa, so much stuff in here, it's an outrage. It's like, well, yeah, but a lot of it is non-starters. And we actually had the same thing happen, I think, across the board for everyone with support tickets on our own site. There would be issues that were resolved, but the customer never said they were resolved, or they weren't support issues. They were just like, I think it would be great if e-commerce put butter on bread or whatever, and you didn't really feel like, hey, I should close this, because as the human making the act of closing it, it was kind of I don't know, came off as rude.
Yeah, you felt like you were doing something.
You're killing it, you're beating this dead cat. But instead we made a dead cat cleaning machine. So every 2 weeks, if there had been no activity on these support tickets, they would just be archived. And you could reopen them, but they would archive. So just that little change actually made support much easier to deal with, because instead of having this huge list of 100 things, you're like, no one's ever going to deal with these non-issues. It would be fresh, new, important things would bubble to the top on their own. So I think figuring out some way to make that happen with the PRB. So if your submission is going nowhere fast, it's given back to you to get your stuff together, and you can go ahead and resubmit it later. That's fine. So all those thoughts. Were there other things that we knew we were going to do? There's some other things that have been suggested that I think we're still debating.
We had talked potentially, sort of pie in the sky, about an add-on that could connect to the PRB from a concrete5 site.
We did like that. Being able to connect to the PRB as if it were a project page, and being able to download and automatically install everything or anything from the PRB that way, I think that would help. I know we spend...
And even get updates to stuff automatically that way.
Yeah, that would probably be a valuable use of time. I know it seems a little silly, because it's like, well, how hard is it to download the package and install it? But that eats up time, and you're looking at doing 50 of these a week, like it starts eating up a lot of time. So that would work well. All that stuff is, I think, our next highest priority on concrete5.org. Just because, as I said, it's starting to eat a lot of time to go back and forth on this PRB stuff. So any improvements to the tool would certainly help. Realistically, it's going to be March before we're looking at doing that. That was a really verbose answer. Probably owe someone money right now, don't it?
Probably. Yeah, public performance being broadcast. There's potentially billions of viewers of this webcast.
Sorry.
Oh, we got a question from Growth Curve.
Okay.
We'd like to know any tips on boosting sales for add-ons and themes.
Advertise.
Well, you can always do a special offer. Pack it up into a special offer, either a discount for a certain period of time, or bundle a couple of things together. That's a very powerful feature of the special offers that no one really seems to use as much as we had hoped.
Yeah, and not just your add-ons either. Multiple developers.
So if you've got a theme that works really well with e-commerce, you could bundle e-commerce and that theme together take some chunk off of both of those, and we'll get an email saying, hey, someone wants to offer this special offer, do you accept it? And generally we probably will.
Yeah.
And you can do it with anyone. So if you, hey, I want Chad's blog and my theme and Franz's randomizer, and here's a whole thing that makes you a really great dentist website, you can put that all together as a special offer, and off you go.
Yeah.
We have the deal today that exists under the marketplace. We also tend to plug really good ones in the Newsflow overlay. So if you've got a special offer that is pretty compelling, we may put it in that Newsflow overlay that you get on 5.5 installs. And that's a nice way to kind of get some new eyes. So all of those.
I just posted a link in the chat to a how-to about how to make special offers in the marketplace. So you might want to check that out.
Yeah, and we do see a lot of activity come from that deal of the day. And to be honest, not a lot of developers submit to the deal of the day. There's a couple that do it religiously, and I think they find it's well worth their while.
Nice. People like getting deals.
People like deals.
All right, got a question from Wagdy. Ask, any chance of an affiliate scheme in the future? Or would that take away too much of the current profit margins?
We've talked about that.
Kicked it around for hosting.
Certainly kicked around for hosting.
Plans.
We've kicked around for internationalization type things.
That's right.
I don't know. It's definitely, it is not a huge pie to slice up, so we're not like a hosting company where we're like, hey, I'll give you like 2 years of revenue. But as we look at doing new things, it stays on the radar of ways we can make it more appealing for our advocates to continue to promote concrete5.
Yeah.
All right, are there any other questions we can maybe answer for anyone before we wrap it up? Or type furiously.
I like loud music. I like big buttons. Well, Oakley dokley.
All right.
I think that's going to do it for this Totally Random. We should be back next week, so if you've got questions, keep them, post them, we'll answer them.
John the Fish asks, when will we kill the troll?
Oh, dude, whatever. I don't know what's up with that guy. There's no point in killing him, we'll just make a new account. But I do appreciate all of your help in ignoring him. I have no idea why he stays around.
I like that there was no question about it when we were talking.
Yeah, we all know the troll. It takes all types, I'll tell you. It takes all types.
Okay,
All right, well, thank you guys. We're going to get back to work. So have a good one.
Fridays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time.